turning out for Angela this season 2?
I can't tell you.
I knew you would.
Of course, right? What can I say?
Broad strokes.
I don't know. I mean, Angela's quite different this season than she was in the first season. And I think the most interesting elements are this idea of brainwash. I wanted to dig deep. I wanted to figure out what her inner motivations were. And I started thinking about the implications of her mother's death and working at this company and the kind of guilt and shame that you live with on a daily basis. And you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, she drank the Kool-Aid and now she's evil. And I think that what's interesting about her and so many and all the characters on the show is that they're so layered and realistic. It's like, yes, but also she was told by Terry Colby, if you want to make a change, this lawsuit means nothing. You have to work from within. You have to work your way up and you have to actually get to a place where you can make those changes. And I would do the same thing if I were in her position. So I think there's that, right, which is real, I can identify with. And there's also the aspect of what happens when you get seduced by the idea of finally having power and control and having someone that believes in you, especially when those things are stripped away from you in your childhood. You know, your mom, like having to find your sense of self after the loss of her mother and not having any power or any control. And now she gets that. And I think that there's something very lucrative about it. So it's that fine line that I think is really relatable, you know, that people relate to.
Is that where the idea of the affirmations comes from?
Well, yeah, right? I mean, it's interesting because I started to listen to them because I wanted to experience what that's like. And I found myself, I was in my kitchen one night and I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't believe in this. I can't do this crap. And I was for an hour and a half, someone says like, you are beautiful. I am beautiful. I think you're beautiful. Over and over, all these things. And I was washing dishes and I noticed that my mood started to shift. And it was weird because there was this one dish that I really hate washing and I grabbed it and I was like, doo-doo-doo, and I was like, God, I'm in a better mood. And that's when things started to click for me. And I thought, oh, wow, what an interesting way to completely reform your body. Like, completely reform it. And why, I was interested to know why she needs to do it so desperately. What pain is she trying to suppress? Because that comes up throughout the season. You start to find out what she's repressing. I mean, she's around Price, who, in the episode that just transpired, is literally saying, if you repress your emotions, you'll know what to do. And, yeah, and you see the positive affirmations. You see how she implements them and why throughout the series, which I think was such a good thing that Sam gave this character this season. Really, really interesting.
So does she have a motive or sort of a plan in place, or is she just seeing where she's going?
Something really, there's like 5 things this season that are totally unpredictable. I mean, things just keep getting slammed her way, and she just has to kind of, some things, oh, I wish I could tell you, but I can't. There's one thing that you totally would. The ending is absolutely insane. I asked Sam so many times, he wouldn't tell me what happened to her. I guessed everything. I even went on Reddit and did research, and I was like, what is it? What is it? And I asked him, he was like, you're never going to be able to guess it. And that's also what's so great about the show is even we don't know what is happening. So, and I would say tune in because everyone on the show goes through massive changes this season.
That was actually one of the questions that I was curious about, which is that there are layers to the show itself, and you can watch it on different levels. So if you just want to watch it like, here's a story, you can do that. But also there's all these hints that get dropped in, and there's this whole other level, like you said on Reddit, looking for those things.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that all leads to something. It did last season, so you should people who really want to figure that out, like you said, Reddit, and there are other places that people can start looking for that stuff.
There's really, really interesting conclusions that I've read that I've like said to Sam, is this what happens? Because this is pretty cool.
What's your favorite fan theory? I'm not asking you to comment on
fan theory,
but what's your favorite fan theory?
I don't know any recent fan theories.
Okay.
Last season.
There's a new one.
I didn't know about the scarf on the door. This isn't a theory, but I didn't know that Mr. Robot's scarf was on the back of the door like the entire time in the first season. Did you know that? That's right.
Go back and
There was a lot of things like that I actually didn't know. You might want to check that, but I think that's right. Yeah, I haven't read any. I'm trying to
There's
think
one
of
this season that Elliot is actually in a prison or a hospital, and that's why he's on like a regimen.
Apparently, there's a whole lot of
That's
bars
really
in that
interesting.
house.
Wow, that's really interesting. I guess what's so crazy about this show, I'm trying to put it together, like how people put the clues together in the show. I guess what's really interesting is like everyone, there's some people that I feel like might be onto things, and then as soon as they think that they're onto things, they're completely wrong. Like they like tiptoe, and then like it goes all the way over here, and then it goes all the way over there, and that like push-pull is really fun to watch. But we sit there. When we were doing this, we had 4 episodes that we didn't read, and we read them together for the first time in like this warehouse. And we were writing notes to each other on the table and passing them like, "Was this fun? What just happened to me?" Just like that, and like looking at Sam, and the whole time we'd take breaks and go outside and try to guess, and none of us guessed. So what I will say is, none of us guessed. None of us guessed correctly.